If becoming perfect means losing yourself, are you still willing to do it? I used to think that becoming beautiful was the only path to happiness, but they never told me that what would change wasn't just my face. I'm Tally. Centuries ago, humans exhausted Earth's natural resources, plunging the world into chaos and war. Science created genetically modified orchids as a new energy source, but they couldn't stop humans from fighting over their differences, and so the operation was born. Every 16-year-old undergoes the surgery to become a perfect pretty, living in the bustling city, while those of us who haven't had the surgery yet are called uglies, confined to the dorms in Uglyville. I couldn't wait to become a pretty. Every day I'd use the Mirrors app to see my transformed self over and over.
Sure, Tally.
A straight nose, bright eyes, the face of my dreams. Said beauty was the only ticket to happiness. My best friend Paris, we'd called each other Sniff and Squint, our own private joke. Sometimes, after curfew, we'd sneak out to the bridge, put on special goggles, and watch the parties in the city. The shimmering lights, the extravagant outfits. It all made me giddy for the future.
Isn't smiling?
Paris was older than me, turning 16 tomorrow. That night, we carved matching scars into our hands, promising that even after becoming pretties, we wouldn't let the doctors erase them. At the assembly the next day, I heard whispers about the Smoke, a secret settlement led by someone named David, where people escape the city to live free. But most didn't believe it. After all, who would give up the chance to be pretty? When Special Circumstances director Dr. Cable's hologram appeared, preaching the importance of beauty and perfection, I felt more certain than ever. Becoming a pretty was my only way forward. When the 16-year-olds were called up, I said goodbye to Paris, promising to meet on the bridge in a month. Watching him walk toward the line, a strange feeling crept over me, like an invisible wall was rising between us. That night, staring at the fireworks over the city, I remembered the day my parents left me at the dorm. Paris was there, standing behind me. We traded nicknames and clicked instantly.
I like it.
Once, when he nicked his hand, reaching for a pill in my palm, I carved the same cut into my own skin without hesitation. We laughed, swearing we'd be friends forever. Back then, we never imagined the future would turn out like this. Days passed. I went to classes, checked the mirror, and waited for my turn, but Paris never sent word. Every chime from my interface ring made my heart leap. Was it him? No, just another class reminder. After a month, I couldn't wait any longer. Using my ring to hack the window lock, I left behind a tracker and slipped out. On the bridge, I waited and waited, but Paris never came. As the night deepened, fear coiled in my chest. Had something happened to him, or did he not want to see me? Worry drove me to climb the bridge and sneak into the city. Hiding in the plants, I found a mask that projected an extravagant dress onto me, letting me blend into the party. For a moment, I was dazzled by the decorations, the energy, but all I cared about was finding that familiar face. When I finally spotted Paris, he was surrounded by pretties, laughing, but when I called out Sniff, he turned with only confusion in his gaze. I pulled off the mask, demanding why he hadn't come. He said things were different now, that he couldn't understand me anymore. When I saw the scar was gone from his hand, something inside me twisted.
You promised me.
The friend who'd made that promise with me was really gone. I wanted to scream, to cry, but all that came out was a shaky.
Best friends forever.
Maybe we will be.
In that moment, I couldn't tell. Had I lost my friend, or had the system taken him from me?
Call me Squint.
The security system spotted me, forcing me to run. I stole a hover jacket and jumped off the balcony. As I fell, my heart raced, not just from fear. If becoming pretty meant forgetting everything, was this perfection really what I wanted? The jacket's gentle bounce slowed my fall, and when my feet touched the ground, I stared at the city's glittering lights, feeling like a stranger for the first time. Escaping the city, I kicked a rock in the water, attracting a drone. Just then, Shay appeared. She pulled me onto her hoverboard, swerving wildly through the forest until we lost our pursuers. To thank her, I sneaked into the kitchen and stole some pastries. As we shared our stories, I realized we'd both been abandoned by friends. That feeling truly hurt. To my surprise, we even shared the same birthday. I thought I'd found another friend to turn pretty with, but Shay said, "Why do we have to turn pretty? Aren't we fine just like this?"
Your hair's brown. Not for long.
The next day, Shay taught me to ride the hoverboard, but I kept falling. At school, I saw girls returning a book to Shay. Real books were rare now. They buzzed with curiosity about wilderness survival techniques. I borrowed the book, but got angry when Shay told others about us, afraid I'd be punished and lose my chance at the operation. Shay reassured me, saying the system wanted everyone to become pretty. I doubted her, but had no choice but to believe. What else could I trust? Days passed with books and hoverboard practice. I showed Shay my pretty design simulations, but she didn't even have an account, completely uninterested in the surgery. Shay watched me and said softly, "You're already pretty. You don't need that." I quickly closed the app, my heart pounding like she'd caught me in some shameful act.
Okay, what else do you have to do?
Finally, I learned to ride properly, flying down crazy slopes with Shay. That freedom made me briefly forget my hunger for beauty. Suddenly, Shay mentioned the smoke and took me to the forest's edge. We removed our interface rings, rode our hoverboards across the river, and arrived at the ruins of an abandoned city. She showed me ancient relics, roller coasters, crumbling buildings, then told me the smoke was real. David would come soon, and she was leaving tonight, hoping I'd join her. I refused. I didn't want freedom. I only wanted to be pretty.
I'm feeling like I'm listening. I want people to see me.
Shay's words spun through my mind like a carousel. Paris's unfamiliar gaze, the hollow glamour of city parties, and the conviction in Shay's eyes slowly gnawed at my faith in the beautiful world. On my birthday, I eagerly headed to the clinic, only to behold everyone else had been called in except me. Guards took me to Dr. Cable, who said Shay had disappeared and suspected I knew where she was. I denied it, but she monitored my vitals through the screen and declared I was lying. She warned me David had brainwashed Shay, forcing people to stay in the smoke. When I still claimed ignorance, she canceled my operation and sent me back to the dorm. Fear and fury twisted inside of me. I'd followed every rule, so why was this happening? Paris came to my window, urging me to tell Dr. Cable the truth so we could be reunited. There was something in his eyes I couldn't read. Pity or detachment? Staring at his smooth wrist, I realized he was part of the system now, while I might soon become its enemy. When Dr. Cable claimed David was developing weapons to attack the city and needed me to infiltrate the smoke, I agreed almost instantly. I told myself it was for the operation, for my old life. But as she fastened a pendant around my neck, activating it only if I found the weapons, my fingers hesitated. What if the smoke wasn't the enemy, but another way to live, just as Shay said? The conflict grew stronger on my journey to the smoke. Fire erupted in the flower field. David saved me. He scanned my gear, disabled the tracker and my hoverboard, but missed the pendant. Watching his focused expression, I realized he was nothing like the brainwasher Dr. Cable described. At the smoke's outpost, seeing Shay's genuine happiness, so unlike Paris's empty, Chloe distrusted me, but Shay defended me, and David believed me. When Shay asked about the necklace, I lied, calling it a gift from Paris, unable to meet her eyes. In the helicopter, David showed me the wasteland caused by orchids. As Shay torched the flowers with a flamethrower, I didn't know who to trust or what to do. Everything I'd believed was crumbling. We danced clumsily around the campfire, yet for once, I was genuinely happy. David taught me to hunt with a crossbow. Over and over, my shots missed wildly, but he never mocked me. Instead, he kept encouraging me. On our way back, we talked at length. He told me he'd never seen the city. He was born and raised in the forest. I could hear the pride in his voice, but also felt an inexplicable envy. I knew almost nothing about my own parents. He suddenly gave me a pair of gloves. He couldn't explain what it meant. Later, Shay saw them and said coldly, "Here, everything has meaning."
It's time for you to make a choice. Are you staying or not?
But the next time I walked with David, I couldn't help asking, "Is there really a weapon?" He looked at me, then led me to an old house beyond the camp. There, I met his parents. They revealed the truth. So-called prettiness was control. Not just the face, even the brain was altered. The real weapon was an unfinished antidote, something that could wake the brain, restore clarity. Hearing this, my world crumbled at the edges. I stared into the fire and threw in the pendant that symbolized my betrayal. In that moment, I decided to stay, to become part of the smoke. The next day, city aircraft arrived, gunfire shattering the peace. We ran, fought back, triggered every trap, but the specials were too fast, too strong. One by one, people were captured. Worse, Az and Maddie had been caught too. Dr. Cable demanded to know David's location. When they refused, she ordered Paris to kill Az. She announced loudly that I'd always been her spy. Everyone stared at me like I was a traitor. But in the chaos, Maddie slipped the cure into David's pocket. As Dr. Cable prepared to take everyone for the operation, I set the supply shed ablaze. While David and I stormed the clinic, we found the cells, freed everyone, only to discover Shay had already been turned pretty. She smiled, saying she liked how she was now. My heart shattered, but all I could do was apologize.
Incredible feeling looking this way.
Dr. Cable arrived with Paris, forcing us toward the operating rooms. Then smoke helicopters attacked. In the mayhem, we escaped, dragging Shay onto the roof where Paris appeared. I tried reaching him using our old nickname, reminding him of the scar we'd shared, but David misunderstood. After a brutal fight, I shoved Paris away. He fell from the ledge, calling my nickname as he disappeared. We fled to a dead city where Maddie finished the cure, but with potential side effects, Shay refused to try it, so I volunteered. Return to the city, undergo the operation, take the cure. If I woke up clear-minded, I'd signal. This was my penance, my fight. When they took me, I didn't resist, because finally, I'd made a choice. My own. Aware, free. Maybe growing up means finding your path through imperfection, even when it's paved with struggle and pain. This is my story, a journey to find myself and the truth.